I am Kevin Iole here in Las Vegas at Top Rank's offices, and it is my pleasure to welcome to the set the heavyweight champion of the world, the lineal heavyweight champion, the man who beat the man, Mr. Tyson Fury. Tyson,
hey, nice
good
to meet
see
you,
you, brother.
How are you, buddy?
Good to see you. Very well. I was there in Los Angeles. One of the best fights I'd seen at heavyweight fights in a while, but I'll say the press conference was a little bit better even than the fight. The post-fight press conference, you made that a little bit fun after that fight.
Yes, it was a great fight. I was on a high. I was very happy. Went into the press conference and sung a little song, did a little dance. Nothing new for Tyson Fury, really.
You hadn't really made a mark in the United States, I don't think, until that particular fight. You decided after the Wilder fight that you wanted to fight here exclusively, I guess, at least for a while.
Yeah.
Why is that? You had such a big following in the UK. Boxing is huge over there.
That's correct. But all great British fighters, they must come to America and do well here if they're ever going to be considered good fighters. You know, it's okay staying in a small pond, being a big fish, but when you cross the sea and you come to where it's all happening, then if you can't make it here, then you're not going to make it anywhere.
I guess the criticism that some people would have would be, it got all jazzed up by that Wilder fight, the way it finished, you getting up like the Undertaker in the 12th round. I mean, that was one of the most dramatic finishes to a heavyweight fight in years. Talk was the rematch was close, and all of a sudden you signed with Top Rank, which I thought was great because a terrific promoter.
Yeah.
But then it scuttled the immediate rematch. Tell me what happened. Why didn't the rematch happen right away?
The rematch didn't happen because I signed a deal with Top Rank, and it's a good idea to have me have a couple of fights to get the US public to know me a bit better, and then when we fight again, it'll be even bigger and better. Bigger is always better.
Hey, I'm into that. But you know, you play the devil's advocate, you look at it and you sold 300-some thousand for that fight. People were jazzed by it. I think there was a lot of talk about the fight.
Yeah.
You guys did a great job promoting it, and it seemed like the second fight had to have been bigger, don't you agree?
100% it'd have been a lot bigger, but it'll be even a lot bigger more when I have a few more fights and get to introduce properly to the US public so they know who they're dealing with and what to expect.
You won the title, I guess in an unexpected fashion, not unexpected to you, but unexpected to people in the United States. And you beat Vladimir Klitschko in 2015, and a lot of people, I thought Klitschko was one of the great fighters of his generation, one of the great fighters of all time.
Yeah.
But it seemed like he and his brother Vitaly were kind of representing an era in boxing that turned a lot of American fans off. You know, they fought cautiously, didn't fight aggressively, didn't go for it. There wasn't a lot of color to their fights. You won the title, and you had a chance to change it, but right away things didn't go as planned. When did you start having problems after that win over Klitschko? It seemed like you would be celebrating that and be on a big high, and then things turned around.
No, I suffer with mental health problems all my life. From being a little kid, I had depression and anxiety, and I never knew what it was. I didn't see any doctors about it right up until after the Klitschko fight. It was a terrible time for me. You'd think like being heavyweight champion of the world, undefeated, having everything that a man could ever dream of would make you happy, but I'm living proof that it doesn't. It doesn't make you happy. I think when you're struggling with mental health, no matter what you have in the world, it doesn't make you a happy person. And you need to get well before you can realise what you've done and appreciate it.
Do you think you perform better given the fact that you've gotten help now subsequent to that, and that now that you know what everything's about, that you'll perform better because you'll be more relaxed?
I'm always relaxed. I'm a relaxed fighter. My whole style of boxing is relaxed. Reflex fighter. I see everything and I get out of the way of it. So I've got to be relaxed. But the thing is now is I'm not in a depression at the moment. Going into the Klitschko fight, I didn't want to live anymore. And afterwards I was like, I've achieved all my dreams now. Now what?
Right.
So I didn't feel I had anything to do anymore. So that was the end of my life, really. Because I put all my eggs in one basket and I wanted to beat Vladimir that much for such a long time that when I finally did it was like, okay, what's next? There's nothing else. Is that it?
It was amazing. I heard you tell a story when you talked about the day you decided that you were going to take your own life and you got in your car and you went off speeding. Can you tell that story? And how did you decide, like at the moment, you're in the act, you're going to do it?
Yeah.
How did it come that you changed your mind? Like what happened?
I was driving very quickly towards a bridge at the bottom of a long road, and I was about 3 seconds from it being over, And I heard a voice in my mind say, don't do this. You're going to leave your kids with no father, and it's going to be a terrible time for your family. You're going to destroy your full family. And I immediately pulled over. And I was shaking like that. And I phoned up for help, and that was the time I really knew I needed to seek proper medical advice. I went and seen the leading psychologist and psychiatrist lady, evaluation woman in the UK, Christina Tizard, and she wrote a report on me. And she said I was very high risk suicide, not to be left alone at any times, and very unwell.
So I just want to kind of get into that moment, if you don't mind, for a quick second. As you're driving, you were in a sports car, weren't you? A Lamborghini, was it?
Ferrari.
A Ferrari. When you try to stop that thing, you're going, I'm sure, at a massive rate of speed. Like, you know, what was happening around you? Did you see other cars, people?
It was an empty road. There was no one on the road.
Ah, okay. Did you, when the car stopped and you said that you heard this voice tell you, don't do this, when the car came to a halt and you did not take your own life, what did you feel? Did you have a feeling of relief?
I was rattled. I was absolutely, my heart was beating out my body. I was sweating. I was shaking. And I didn't know if I was coming or going. So when people are about to take their own life, it's not a pretty sight to see.
Right.
You know, they must be in a terrible state to do this.
Right.
And almost immediately I had a sign of relief that I didn't do it. They say that the suicide rate is like 95% of people who take their own lives but didn't manage to do it regretted it straight away after they'd attempted. And I can vouch for that.
Right.
Because I pulled over and it was an instant relief that I didn't kill myself.
Wow.
But at that given moment, I would have done it.
So when did you start to get relief? Because that's the thing that people want to know. Like, when did Tyson start to feel like you were turning your life around? You were basically eating and drinking yourself to death as well. I mean...
Yeah, I went up to 400 pounds. I was very unfit. I was on the verge of having a heart attack, I believe. I started to get anxiety attacks, which is a horrible, horrible feeling. Worse than being fat, worse than being unhealthy. It was a surreal experience that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And it was around about that time where I thought I was at rock bottom in my life and it couldn't get any worse. So I admitted to myself that I was as low as any man could go. And the only way back to being well again was to get fit again. Because all my life boxing and keeping fit has been my happy place.
Right.
And whenever anything's going wrong, I go for a run. I get on the road. So if ever I've got some stress or something, I just get my running shoes on, get a 6-mile run done. Gives me time for an hour to be alone and think about stuff. And when I come back, I feel better. And I remembered this at this point, and I thought to myself, right, it must be that I need to be fit again. I'd never had that period of time off ever, from being 12 years old to being 28 years old. I'd never had 3 year off training, 2.5 years without training. And at this period in my life, I did. And I needed to get back training. That's what give me focus and give me drive in life. It was hard though, because at 400 pounds, there's a lot of pressure on your knees, all your joints,
Right.
your back, everything. I'm a man now who could get out there and run 20 mile on that road. Never been an issue for me. But to get back on the road and not be able to do half a mile jog at a slow pace, it's terrible.
I imagine, like, a lot of times people who are heavy would get acid reflux, and you're laying in bed at night and you can't sleep then. So does it compound itself, sort of like all the side effects of being obese, compound it and make it...
Oh, it was terrible. Life at that moment was terrible. I couldn't sleep at night. I was in pain all the time because I was that heavy laying down. I couldn't bend down and tie my shoelaces up without sweating alive or being out of breath. I was as unfit as I've ever been. And I'd rather be absolutely flat broke, living on the streets, than go back to where I was mentally.
Tyson, I mean, we're talking a lot of personal issues here, but I want to ask you about your wife, Paris. What was her reaction as she sees you doing this? Did she threaten to leave you? Did she say, because I would think that she's got to try to do something to turn you out of this rut. She sees that you're falling apart, that you're...
Nobody could help me. Nobody and nothing could stop me. I was on a one-way ticket to self-destruct. And the more somebody tried to help me, the more I'd push them away. And the more that you've got to want to do it yourself rather than other people wanting it.
Sure.
It wasn't easy, you know. It's well documented. I was taking recreational drugs and I was drinking every day and I'd be going out partying for 10 days in a row. I wouldn't be going home. My relationship was destroyed, you know. I'd done everything that a husband shouldn't do. It's a moment in my life I'm not proud of, and I wasn't proud of at the time because I was judging it on a well-minded person. But you can't judge somebody who's suffering with mental health as a well-thinking person because somebody thinking sensible wouldn't do the things that I were doing.
I mean,
I look back at it now and it's like I'm not embarrassed of what that was because I know that's an illness.
Right, exactly.
And looking at it from this side of the fence to then, I can see how far I've come. Nobody would really know how I was feeling, only me. And for me to sit here today and speak to you thinking well is worth everything to me.
That's awesome.
It's absolutely a surreal experience to be down and depressed your whole life and then to go to hell and then to come back
from it.
and not to be suffering as much as you've ever done ever. It's like absolutely fantastic. I've seen how bad it can get, so now I enjoy every day when it's good because I know it can turn at any given moment.
A lot of people, when they do what you did, you went public with a story that you could have kept private, and you helped a lot of people by doing that. But I wonder if they helped you back, because did people reach out to you and say, Tyson, you saved my life, you helped me, you made me look for support, and I found it. And did that help you in any way?
On a daily basis, even today. Every day that goes by, I'm inundated with messages from all over the world, from all different types of people on how my story has helped them. And that gives me such a feeling of, a proud feeling of, I've helped other people other than myself. My struggles have saved people's lives, me going public with it. And that means everything. Because I know that it's a silent killer, mental health problems. And I know there's millions of people out there who suffer just like me. And you're not alone. There is other people and there is help out there. And I know how dark it gets. I know that, like, you don't think life ain't worth living anymore and you just want to die. And I'd wake up every day not wanting to live. I think, why did you wake up today? I used to think I was a worthless piece of rubbish. And nothing I ever did was any good and I didn't enjoy anything. You could have taken me to the best restaurant, the best holiday, anything. It was all rubbish to me in my mind. I was just constantly down. Nothing could make me happy. Not winning world titles, not achieving goals, nothing would make me happy. I was totally always down, negative. Someone could come in this room and say, oh, we've just done a very fantastic deal, X, Y, Z. I'd say, oh, great, fantastic. It wouldn't mean anything to me. I didn't enjoy or appreciate anything.
Sure. So
now to be on this other side where I can appreciate things and I do look forward to things, it's an amazing experience. And for the first time in 30 years as a person, I'm really living and understanding what life's about. And if I can come back from that, then so can you and so can everybody else who suffers. It's not going to be dark forever. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
I know, mental health issues cross all boundaries, and it affects anybody. But I can't help but be, struck by the fact that Rick Hatton had a lot of similar things in his life that you had. Do you think in any way, you did say that this was something that you had before you were boxing, but do you think in any way the pressure that you faced as a boxer contributed to this?
I don't think so, no. I think it's genetic. I think it gets passed on through generations. My grandfather on my father's side, he took pills for it all his life. From being a very young man, he was on medication for mental health. So I think it's hereditary.
So now you're back in a good place, and let's talk about a good thing. The fight on Saturday got a little bit of criticism for who you're fighting, Tom Schwarz. I guess you can make some reference to Andy Ruiz, because Andy Ruiz was not getting a lot of credit before he fought Anthony Joshua, and Ruiz went out and knocked Joshua down 4 times and won the heavyweight title, a version of the heavyweight title. So let me first start with this. I saw you the other day, you said fat men too and fit guys nil. You did say that.
100%.
Do I have a chance then?
Everybody has a chance, Don't you think it's quite fitting, though, and enjoyable? quite refreshing that the two best conditioned athletes, boxers, of the past 15 to 20 years, both lost to fat guys.
Yeah.
It's almost miracle, that, isn't it?
Very
remarkable.
It is stunning.
Viva the fat man!
So you got to walk into one of the fat songs that are out there now, right?
It just kicks all this nutrition and strength and conditioning right up in the air, doesn't it?
It does.
Because, you know, you can go and eat Mars bars and chocolates and whatever you want and go in there and knock out the heavyweight champion of the world. It's absolutely amazing.
And didn't George Foreman make a career out of eating hamburgers?
100%. Big George Foreman.
So how does the Ruiz victory over Joshua affect you in terms of Schwarz? Because I think people are making that comparison.
I don't think it affects me at all. I'm very focused on what I do. It's not a plaything to me. I love the job I do and I get paid for it, which makes it even better. I train really hard. I dedicate my life to the sport, my whole life. I never wanted to do or be anything else. So when they get in that ring and try and discredit me, make me look small in front of the world and try and beat me up in front of the world, that ain't a very good place to be in. Especially when you're with a man who's got every single trick in the book.
Right.
I can box, I can move, I can trade, I can counter, I can go orthodox or southpaw, I can come forward or move backwards. So I don't worry about anything these guys can do. They may only can do two of those things that I've just said, but I do everything. There isn't nothing I can't do in a boxing ring. I feel like a dolphin in the sea while I'm in that boxing ring. That is my home. That's the best place I could ever be at this time, is in that ring fighting.
Well, did you have a moment when you came back, when you were losing the weight and you got in the ring where you said, I'm back, I'm the same guy that I was, or as good as I ever was?
I never lost it. Even at 400 pounds, I'd have a move around. I'd come from the local bar after drinking 12 or 15 pints of beer, and then I'd turn up for sparring sessions at the gym with all the best heavyweights around. And I'd have a belly out there, and everyone's like, oh my God, this guy's very unhealthy. I'd get in there and punch them all up.
That's amazing.
I never lost anything. I was just slower and fatter.
So that was the genetics as well.
When I came back, like after nearly 3 years out the ring of abuse and then everything else that went on, well documented, everyone was like, nah, he can't be the same. Why do you think Deontay Wilder took the fight with Tyson Fury? Because they were banking on him not being the same man.
Right.
It was impossible for Tyson Fury, who beat Klitschko of 2015, 3 years later, over 3 years later, been inactive for so long, to put all that weight on and off and only have 2 easy comeback fights to beat somebody of that level. It's not possible, but I defy every law of gravity, every ethical reason for why I shouldn't be the way I am. I defy it.
Was Pineda your first fight or your second fight back on the comeback?
A second fight.
Okay, so the first fight was Siri.
Seferi, yeah.
Yeah, so that fight, I remember you got in the ring in the first round and you made a miss and you countered a shot, and I thought, this guy is not bad. He's like similar to what he was before. So to me, if I saw that, you got to think Deontay Wilder saw that and said, hey, this is his first fight back after 2.5 years. He had to know that you had that boxing ability and you had the moves.
They was banking on me being nowhere near the fighter I was.
Yeah.
I told his manager that I was nowhere near the fighter I was. I had to sort of goad him into it, tell him a lot of rubbish to make him sound.
That was Al Heyman, you said?
Yeah. I sort of sold him the idea of beating Tyson Fury. Good salesman.
So you went out there and you sold that fight. You walked the streets of LA and were asking people who Deontay Wilder was. So now he might be in Las Vegas asking who Tom Schwarz is this week, because that's the big question going on. Is Schwarz a legitimate top heavyweight? Is he going to be a threat to you?
I don't think any of them are a threat to me. Mm-hmm. If I can come back and beat Deontay Wilder for 3 years out the ring on drugs and drink,
right,
then who's a threat?
Yeah.
Do you think I fear Deontay Wilder's right hand? No. Do I fear any of these guys? No. None of them's threats. They're all bare bums in the shower, bum city. None of them's any good compared to me. I'm the best heavyweight of my generation, by far.
Well, Wilder said to me when I talked to him before he fought Brazil, I said, why didn't you finish the job? You're the guy that, is the biggest puncher out there. He was saying that he was a bigger puncher than Ernie Shavers or Mike Tyson or any of the big punchers in heavyweight history. And I asked him why he didn't finish the job, and he said, I knew that I had to perform at such a high level, and when I was walking down, that was the first time in my life that I knew I had to get a knockout. He said every other time the knockout came, at this point, I knew I had to get the knockout. And he said, so he put so much pressure on himself, he didn't perform. Do you think that's underselling your role in that, the fact that you were able to, box so beautifully and
there's
make
always
it hard
got
for
to
him
be
to
an
hit you?
excuse, hasn't there?
Yeah.
If you're Deontay Wilder, and a man who's been out the ring 3 years, abusing himself, has come into a match-fit fighter who had 7 defences of his title and done that to him, there's got to be a reason why, right? There has to be.
Right, of course.
Overperform, too much pressure, whatever the reason is,
Right.
you've got to kid yourself. And up here, you've got to tell yourself X, Y, and Z reasons why this fat guy has been able to come back after so long out the ring and perform like this against me. It's got to be him. It's got to be a reason why, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
Because he ain't going to never admit to himself the truth.
Right.
No, athletes don't do that. They're not realists.
The knockdown was one of the most violent knockdowns in the 12th round that I have seen in a long time. He hit you with that, the right, and then he came back with the left hand behind it. I wonder this, and I haven't heard you speak of this. Were you out from the one shot, and when you hit the floor, wake back up? Is that what happened?
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I've watched it a few times, but it doesn't give me any more information than I already know.
Right. When do you remember? Do you remember hitting the floor, looking up, or was it just all of a sudden you bounced?
I remember getting up. That was it.
Yeah.
I don't remember being knocked out. I don't remember being knocked to the floor or anything. But I remember opening my eyes at 4 and getting up, and the referee I've never seen anything like this. Are you going to continue? Can you move? It's like he said, move that way, move that way, move that way, move that way. Continue. But I will say this. Deontay Wilder had over 2 minutes to finish me in that fight, in that round. A man who's been knocked out, so he says. Why didn't he finish me?
Right.
Couldn't. He couldn't beat a wounded animal that needed one more punch and it was over. But he couldn't do it.
Did you think you did enough in that round to make it a 10-9, not a 10-8?
I think I come back and won the round. I rocked him quite heavily in that fight. After that fight, I hit him with a right hand and a left up, bam, bam, and he was holding on like this. He was gone. He was all out, no stamina problems. And this is a guy who's been match fit, don't forget. Do we know what match fit means?
Perfect matchmaking where you're getting guys that you know who you can beat.
Not just that, a guy that's been active, who had title defences the whole time I was out in a pub drinking beer. So while I was out for 10 days in a row on the beer, partying, Deontay Wilder was knocking people out in title defences in those 3 years. And he couldn't do anything with that person. So how good am I? If I can have 3 years out the ring and come back to the highest level in heavyweight boxing, then what am I? Ultra-human? What am I made of? Pig iron
You are
and
the
steel?
Gypsy King.
I don't know. It's unheard of. I don't know anyone who could do it. Well, I don't know anybody, anytime, could go out the ring for 3 years, abuse the body on drugs and drink, put 400 pounds on, go up to 400 pounds, and come back after 3 years, jump straight in to championship boxing with the hardest puncher, and one of the hardest punchers in history, the biggest KO percentage in heavyweight history, and do that. In his own country, on away soil.
Why didn't you do the rematch? You had me fired up for it. It was now you got me wanting to see that
Who
rematch.
do you work for?
Yahoo Sports.
You don't work for Al Heyman, do you?
I do not work for Al Heyman.
Because let me tell you, the rematch is going to be 10 times bigger than the first fight, and I'm going to make you all wait for it. Because anything good is worth waiting for. And when you got the 2 best heavyweights in a fight in the world, why give it away so soon?
Who's the better fighter, Joshua or Wilder?
They're both bums.
Bums?
Yeah.
Who would win if they fought?
Both pro bums. That's all I can say.
Okay.
And I hope you get to see them fight each other, and I hope they beat the out of each other.
And then they'll fight you. What is your status? Wilder said that he signed to fight you after fighting Luis Ortiz. Can you confirm that? Did you sign that, or is that a deal?
I didn't sign anything.
So nothing's going on?
No.
Are there talks? Is he accurate that at least that?
Do you know what? I am concentrating on Tom Schwarz, and I don't look past Tom Schwarz. Wilder can do what he wants. Go jump off a bridge for all I care.
Right.
It's none of my real concern. What he does with his life or career, no interest.
Sure.
I can only concentrate on me. And what I'm doing at the minute is very important to me. and it's not to Deontay Wilder or anybody else in the division. I don't care what the division does with herself. They can go stand in the corner behind the curtain for all I care. Right. It's none of my concern what anybody else is doing. Why would I be concerned on somebody else's career? I just wouldn't.
Right.
So, you know, I'm hoping to have a good performance and a good fight with Tom Schwarz. Then I'm going to go home back to England and drink about 1 million pints of beer. Because I've never had a drink for I don't know how long. It must be 3 weeks now. Got to be.
Got to be killing you.
It's killing me. 3 weeks without alcohol is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, we got to get this man a beer pretty soon. Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, on Saturday on ESPN Plus against Tom Schwarz. Tyson, I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much,
brother.
Kevin Iole.